All right, everybody, we are live, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru, and I have the good brother Rahh all the way from Mombasa, Kenya. And today's topic is racism is the number one reason to move to Africa. Now, Rahh, real quick. So you're born and raised in LA.
Yes.
What part of LA did you live in primarily?
Primarily southeast and southwest and central, south central.
Okay. Now,
in the hood.
In the hood, okay. So you live you live in South Central LA.
My school was in the hundreds.
Okay.
Way. Yeah.
Okay. So how were the police back then? How was it dealing with the police back in the 80s and 70s when you were in South Central LA?
Okay, I was a policeman.
You were a police? You never told me that.
Yes, I was a policeman for a hot minute before racism stuck its gruesome head in and removed me. So I was in class of 81 in the academy. And then, that's another story in itself. And they racism me out. So they told me I could come back. They couldn't fire me because it was racism. So they had to get me to quit. So they lied to me and told me I could come back in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came back in 6 months, when I called personnel, they told me, and I recorded that phone call. And the lady told me, well, I don't know why those officers are telling you people that you can come back in 6 months. It's nothing like that. And I was like, that's when I realized I had been fooled. But of course, that was 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
So I reapplied again, starting from the written exam, the psychological, the background, the physical. It was like silly because I had just done it, like a year prior. And then when I was about to be given my certification for my next class, 2 detectives walked in, called me outside and told me, you can't apply for 4 years. And I was like, what? And then they said they couldn't tell me why. I had to go see my background investigator. Oh, I haven't told this story in a long time. Mm-hmm. When I went down to see the background investigator, he was black. And he told me, I can't help you. I can't let you see what's written. And then he opened up the file and then walked away so I could read it. And when I read it, it was the 2 white guys that had told me I could come back in 6 months. Claimed that I had lied and this and that, and I had did these, all these things which were not true. So, I majored in criminal justice in college. It was what was supposed to be my career. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, racism ended all of that. And I came to realize that I don't care what they say. I don't want to be somewhere with a gun, guys around me with a gun, and these people are half of these people are racist.
Right.
And I gave up on that. But luckily, I had my computer career also, so it wasn't like I was.
So in LA, outside of the police force, when you were a civilian. What kind of racism did you face just in everyday life?
Racism is a funny thing. And when you ask these type of questions like what type of racism did you face, you're talking about somebody to answer in like individual circumstances, which are there,
or just in general,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but the conversation can go like that, but we got to get to the advanced parts of this. When we talk about a race, we're not talking about white people attacking black people or saying racist remarks to black people. No,
right.
We're talking about in place, solid, working racist program to keep blacks economically down.
Right.
You see, even the stupidest racist guy, white guy that would be practicing I hate blacks and got to get blacks out, the root of what he is doing is destroying our economic ability to grow as a people. And I can say, oh, I remember when the police did me like this when I was younger, but I didn't understand at that time. And when I had decided to become a policeman, and my friends started to distance themselves away from me. I was like, I was like glue. I was glue. I wanted to be a policeman, and I wasn't going to get high, and I wasn't going to drink, and I was going to look at people and classify them as criminals. And all the things that it would take to be a police officer at the time. But it was only when it got to the point where I was getting a paycheck.
Right.
Yeah. Now you see, I'm working for LAPD. They're paying me, and then these people are attacking me. And what hurts the most is that it stopped me from making money. You see. Because that racism in my case, I can't even mention his name, but
no, mention his name. Call him out. Mention his name.
That's not good. No. Okay, people will know who I'm talking about. The captain of 77th Division at that time when I was around there.
Daryl Gates. Daryl Gates.
Daryl Gates. No, it's black.
Oh, damn. Okay, damn.
Yeah. So anyway, he went on to be I had a good connection with him, and when all this happened, I went to him and asked and told him these guys had did this to me, and he told me, brother, I can't help you. And then later on down the line, I come to realize that he had a hand in it. See, so it's like the whole thing is about keeping us economically down, because he knew me. He knew what type of person I was. He knew what I was capable of doing, and they didn't want that type of person there. And that was before I was black conscious. So I was on a list. So when I went to apply for Compton Police Department, they drove up to my psychological interview in an LAPD police car and told that guy, the psychiatrist, about me. Then looked me in the face, walked out, and when I went in for my psych interview at Compton College, in Compton, the guy only asked me 2 questions, and then they failed me, and that's after I had passed the LAPD psychological test twice, because I told you I went through the testing twice. So how is it I can pass LAPD psych twice, get into the academy, and then I go for Compton, and then they fail me on the psych? And the LAPD policeman walked in like that. It wasn't just a random accident. So, that's the first time I've ever mentioned about that on camera. But even in my dealings in corporate America, because I've worked in corporate America for 15 years. Because the type of computers that I was trained on were only available to Fortune 500 companies. So I also work for the government in Rockwell International, top secret. I can talk about it now because the security stipulation was only for 10 years. So I worked on the B-1 bomber and the space shuttle program. And inside those plants, I was the only black. In fact, I was the youngest black person to be hired at Rockwell International at that time. And racism, it's there. Okay, when I was there, at first I was young. No one really attacked me. But later on, as I got older, you felt it coming. And then the other blacks that were there, you could see, even dealing with them, they were really wounded by a lot of racist marks. They didn't enjoy their job. They always had to keep to themselves and keep secrets and not get too close and talking riddles. So I thought they were weird at the time, but only when I became black conscious that I could relive back their conversations and see, okay, the reason why that person was like that was because he was afraid. And this is the case. A lot of us are afraid, but because we don't understand, we think we are the problem, and we are not the problem. The problem is the white man. And the white man has this big problem. The problem is that the guy is really, really insecure. And
Facts.
black people need to realize, sit down and realize that this can they just sit down and think about being a white person. You realize you're 7% of the world population, only that. And because you're split up into groups, you're actually like a very small, tiny percentage. You walk around even in your homeland and you see most of the people don't look like you, even in your own homeland. See? Black people, we can go out into the sunlight and we'd be okay. But a white person, that guy, he fried like a southern chicken on Labor Day. Gets out in the sun today. So we can't be, we don't understand that,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so a lot of these things, and what Frances Cress Wilson, she really touched on it a lot about the psychological makeup of the white man, and it's the truth because there is no other explanation. The guy is in fear of being exposed as who he really is. Mm-hmm. He's the last person on the planet. He was a grafted one from the weakest genes. And we have to, and there's not doctor, but President Lyndon B. Johnson said that the white man, the poorest white man, will give you all the money out of his pockets if you can just tell him that he's better than the best black man. Now, this is Lyndon B. Johnson, the president. Now, people don't know about him much because the guy was really, if I had to say any president was pro-black, I wouldn't say Obama at all. I would say Lyndon B. Johnson. And they're trying to write him out of history because of his views towards racism and all of the good work that he did during the civil rights movement. People should go back and check out the Lyndon B. Johnson's last speech 4 days before he died. And you just be saying like you wished he wouldn't have died because the guy was putting white people on point. Even though he had a southern accent, he knew the deal. And the media and the government establishment redirects our attention from that and tries to hide the true history that we need to know to make a better decision on whether we want to stay in a country that's racist. Mm. And being in a racist country, getting back to the economic part of it, as I said before, Bernie Sanders, I think people know him, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that guy that went Hillary came on TV. African Americans lost half their wealth, and in fact, I can't remember exactly, but it's the Bureau of Real Estate Brokers did a survey, and they found that 8% of black home ownership was lost, and that contributed to half of black wealth was gone because the blacks couldn't afford homes and they were being forced out during foreclosure, and the realtors kept that record of that, and they gave it somehow. Democrat with Bernie Sanders brought up in one of his campaign speeches. But did we know that? Did the media highlight on that? Did the government ever say, well, since the black people lost half their wealth, let's make a conversation about that? No. You see?
No.
But we still running around the United States trying to pretend like we got money that we don't got. We trying to we start going home and start dealing in our finances and then looking at them and shaking our head. God damn. I'm so no, because I was there too, fucking broke.
Right.
I got so many bills. You see?
Uh-huh.
And if you're into the credit card market, oh my goodness, I feel sorry for you. Because that's just a deep hole that you may never get out. And that alone is causing so many brothers and sisters to not even think about Africa because it would take a few more coins that they don't have. So they end up sticking in with saying, I'm gonna stay and wait and watch and see. But at the same time, if we're having family, if we're having children, we may not realize it, but you're subjecting your children to following the same line as you. If they get up to 14 and 15 and have no clue about Africa or even the thought about going to Africa, and you never taught them about they should go to Africa, then your whole family line is missing an opportunity to prosper in a racist-free society. And this is the case that we need to look at. Black people need to look at that and say, you know, while we're sitting here typing on the keyboard, funny jokes and trolling on the keyboard, you're gonna get off that keyboard and you're gonna step right back into real life. And you know, and I'm not gonna be there. So what's gonna, you know, you got to deal with the actual, you know, the actual facts of life.
No, you're right.
And yeah, so you know, I mean, come on, you know, if you just turn off the goddamn TV and not watch the football game and not play video games, you know, and try to use your poor focus and concentration skills that you got from being in public school, you just sit down with yourself for a minute and try to get that little brain, that little pea brain of yours to work, you can see common sense. How the hell can the black imprisonment be at its highest rate,
right?
Yet rate is at its lowest rate? Oh, can somebody help me? Yeah, I got people have been imprisoned at, you know, like I told you, 1,000% increase, and the crime rate is lower than it's ever been. It should not be like that. It's the opposite trend. Whatever they're going to tell you, that doesn't make any sense. To profile us, and then they use that against us because who we are, and we are a great, you know, we are a great people. Yeah. Now I've been told we're a great people.
Yes.
And yeah, and since I'm out here with the other people, I'm out here with Africans. Yeah, I kind of see like I have abilities that they don't have. You see, and yeah. So I mean, not that they don't have abilities, but when you put me in my kids go to school,
right?
Although my kid looked just like everybody else in the classroom, she do stand out. Get what I'm saying? I don't know if you can get what I'm saying. So there is equality, and equality comes from the fact that we was in Africa, and we was your ancestors and my ancestors. So you know, they bopped us on the head, threw a net over us, and they put us in the ship. And you know, let's say they took 100 of us. Out of that 100, after the first day of voyage, 10 got sick, and then they went to throw up over the side of the ship. They fell off. They died. 2 months into the voyage, them got psychological damage, got sick, got and died. Because you know, most of the cargo that they brought, they would say like half of the slaves would die on the route. So what would arrive on the shores of the United States were the strongest of the strong Africans that were put on that ship. Then they were auctioned off and then put into enslavement and then and chained and made to work in the field for all those hours, sun up to sundown. And many of them died in this process, ran or killed or just refused. You know, many Africans just said, "Me no go no further, kill me."
Mm-hmm.
And the slave traders would be happy to oblige them. Put them out. They don't shoot them in the back, in the dark, somewhere quiet. No, they bring them out. They call all the other slaves out and say Mutumbo said he don't want to answer to his Toby name and that he said he's not gonna work for us. This is what you get. Boom! And the rest of you see. So psychologically, they use those guys, the really ones that were resistant to make an example of them. And then, but what you would have left would be the strongest of the strong, smartest of the smart, because Tumbo wasn't smart for choosing death over life.
Mm-hmm.
It will continue. So we by slavery has caused the natural progression of better African. And of course, remember that they didn't just take up men to go to work in the fields. They also took up architecture people like George Washington Carver. these brilliant minds, they would take them and then they would give them that freedom so that they could invent things. And we invented so many things, but because of racism, we never were really given credit for it. I mean, my goodness, Dr. Gregory, rest in peace, said
Mhm.
black man invented the car before Ford,
Mm-hmm.
the Harrison Car Company. And I was like, God damn, poor Dick Gregory, he's losing his mind. So let me just go on Google and see. And goddamn, he was so right. Here we have all this work, and it was showing not only that we had made good cars, we made great cars. You see,
Right.
but because of racism and what Lyndon B. Johnson was saying, let the poorest the poorest white person needs to believe that he's better than the best. How can you get that to happen? You've got to hide the fact that the black man has done great things in America.
Right.
And so there again,
not only America, the world itself.
yeah, okay, but you remember this guy's only 7% of the population, and you go all around the world, like you go to China, black men go to China, and they'll tell you that they're treated differently.
Right.
They go wherever they're treated differently because it's not the racist tone. And in some places like here where I am at now, I'm respected higher because I'm a black man.
Mm-hmm.
So because I had a meeting with someone and they didn't know me. They just said they thought I was an Arab because of my name. And then when they were told I was a black American, they was like, "Oh, ooh, tell him to come. Tell him to come." Yes, you see, I got their attitude changed. So it's up to me as a black man in a foreign country. I know I represent my people because so many people know me as the only black American they have come in contact with. So their impression of black Americans is based off me. And I can understand how you feel when you say you don't want these knuckleheads to come and then they stand in the marketplace acting a fool, and then Africans get a wrong impression. But we have to have we have to be responsible when we come to these countries because they do give us a lot of respect, as contrary to what the popular belief.
Grandmaster, can I make an announcement real quick to the chat room? Hello?
Go ahead.
Grandmaster.
Yeah,
I hear you now. I wanted to make an announcement real quick to the chat room. That cool?
Yeah, cool.
Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us. Again, we have the good brother, Grandmaster Amenkrahh with us. Everybody who's super chatted, thank you for super chatting. Amenkrahh, I need your address so I can send you a postcard. Email me your address. But H Hustler, email me, searchforahuru@gmail.com, and let me know which postcard you want so I can get that out in the mail, okay? Me with, let me start shaking them. Me with the King of Alada, or me with the Royal Guard, Ashanti Royal Guard. So let me know. Also, so thank you for super chatting. And who else we got? And also, Mr. Grandeur, I think I already got you already. But brother Hustler, H Hustler, send me an email and let me know which one you want. All right, go ahead, Amenkrahh. Sorry about that.
No problem. So, that's a problem because I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah, I forgot too. I guess you getting a job in Kenya because you're a Black American.
Yeah. So no, not a job, but the respect level was high,
right,
for us here, and I can understand it where blacks would have fear to come here, mm-hmm. and leaving home and everything. But everywhere you go, when you make a move, you have to plant your foot, and you hope that the foot plants in solid ground. But the fact of the matter is, you have to take that step, and you don't know. You can only hope that the ground is solid where you're going to. I don't care if you've got all your paperwork right and you've been your banks statements transferred and all around you, and you're still taking that chance when you make the move. So that goes for everyone. So I always say hats off to anybody that can make the move, and 99.9% of the people, because I won't say 100%, that come here, they find that they've stepped on solid ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't imagine that you would come somewhere and expect to be hit the ground running and roll, and job is waiting for you and everything. No, unfortunately, that's not the case, and it is our fault because we were not brought here earlier.
Right.
But yeah, so we're still, the numbers that are coming are still trickling in, and at one point where uh, you know a person has to come to realize that you cannot make it anywhere on your own. You have to have contacts, and you have to meet people, and you have to have a good quality of life. That's why when they were going out west, when the United States was young and people were moving out west, a man's honor was everything because
Right.
they didn't have credit. You only had your name, and guys would duel to the death in the name of honor. And in Africa, it's still like that today. So if you are what people say you are, and if you have a good reputation, you can build on that reputation the way you want, and doors will open up for you, and you meet people, and you can take it from there.
Mm.
But you cannot come like you're working at you're working at Walmart, and you quit Walmart, and then you get on a plane and come to Africa, and you go to the nearest Walmart. No, you want to continue where you left off. No, it doesn't work like that, and you can get a job,
Mm.
but not like you would get in the United States. You should not think like because you're in a different country. And in fact, all of the things that are decadent, the food, the overweightness of the country, the decadence, you find it less here, and that's a good thing. It's actually a good thing because the African does live healthier, and he has a happier life. You can tell by the way they laugh that they have actual freedom in them, compared to the way Black Americans do. We laugh nowadays? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? One thing we don't do, and we'll discuss this more in the when we do another video on this subject. Let me ask you this, Amirah. Your kids, do your kids go outside and play and have a good time?
Yeah, that's
No,
a
they don't. They don't do that anymore here in America.
no. My daughter, she got all these scars on her legs. I'm trying to tell her, she's 7 years old. I'm telling her, you see these scars, you will never get a husband. If you see these scars on your legs, she don't understand exactly, but she knows it's not a good thing
Uh-huh.
because he's running and jumping, and, all over the place.
Hmm.
And this is for those people that don't have family. This is new. It's almost new to me because I have tried 4 times and failed.
What do you
And
mean?
I
Try 4 times?
finally,
You've been married 4 times?
no, I'm family, and racism caused one of my main family, to be destroyed, and and it was racism, in all its glory. That's a topic we can discuss if someone has questions. But yeah, I finally got a chance to develop a relationship these last 8 years, 9 years with my partner, and I'm seeing my kids, grow, and I'm seeing the expressions on their face when they see daddy and mommy together
Hmm.
in the house, and I see my little 2-year-old running around, daddy, 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 and this it's important for their growth, you know.
Hmm.
When 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 Eva gets upset with the kids too much, I'm ready to stand in, and when I'm too relaxed with them, she's telling me, "Oh, I mean, you should not give them money. They're doing ABCD." Okay, fine, but I love my kids, and they come to me, "Daddy, can I have 10 bob?" Why not? But you see, what I'm saying, there's a balance in dealing with the kids,
Hmm.
and you don't have you when you raise what they call when you raise healthy kids, not just physically but mentally.
Right.
uh, it's a challenge. And if you're doing it by yourself, you see it becomes difficult. But one of the things that I see us as black people, we have long since lost, long time ago, is the ability to raise our kids in the way we want them to go. Like, for instance, just off the top of my head, let's say there is a demand for, in fact, this is a good example. There's a demand for financial sector that can speak Chinese, because the Chinese are now doing 80% of the business that Kenya is doing is dealing with the Chinese. So I make it a point to ensure that my daughter takes Mandarin lessons besides what she's doing in school, to the point where she can basically understand Chinese. And there are so few women that speak, Kenyan women that speak Chinese, and they have to deal with the Chinese delegations on all matters of business in an array of businesses, not only with government projects, but also in the private sector. That Chinese are here trying to find ways where they can invest in the country, and she would go far. You get what I'm saying? So this thing of just let your kid go to school and what do you want to be? It could be anything you want to be. You see, and no one says anything else. I think it's the wrong way to go. And I've seen it here with some of the Arabs and Asians. They don't pick the girlfriend they want. Oh no. Indians here, they don't pick the girlfriend they want. They look at another family, and that family's got a good reputation, and they start making meetings, and then they decide, and the two are put together to make the two families stronger. I got a friend, I've seen this happen from when he didn't know the girl to the time when he met the girl to the time they got married, and they still married today happily. He got two boys. So we black people, then we get to have children, and then we just let them do whatever they want, especially while TV is there, so they can be making decisions based on what they see on TV. Oh man, it's a disaster. So God willing, I be there with my kids' life, and I'll be able to demand that they do certain things when they're young, so that when they get older, they'll be much better off. And we as black people, like with Boyce Lydell and Boyce, did I say it right? Boyce Lydell and Dr. Claude Anderson are saying we need education and economic education. And parents are, black parents are not getting this information to give out to their children to help them make better choices when they're in the workforce. And the same line goes for being black conscious. We need to get our children to understand the true history. Should be no more of this letting them just walk out there to school and then I believe in Jesus nonsense, and then expect them to take care of us in our old age, or for them to be a success without problems.
Right.
This is a racist society, and racism is a serious game. You're at the table and you don't even realize that they're dealing you cards. You're just sitting there staring into space.
Real quick, if you could speak on one more time how people who are interested in moving to Africa, how much of an urgency they should have to go ahead and make that move. If you could speak on that.
Yeah, the urgency is the right term to use. It is very urgent, because where are we going to go with our black communities? Where are we going to go with them? You see, and the black community has failed because the family structure has failed. How are we going to raise kids if the kids are bouncing back and forth between two parents who don't like each other, or they're at odds with each other, or they're like we do, they're not speaking to each other, and they end up competing against each other to see who could be the happiest, and the kids are caught in the middle of all that, and no real concern about whether the kid is going to be uh, what the kids are going to be when they grow up. And still a lot of us are still hoping that they can be a football player or basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the urgency is there. I told you, you're on the Titanic, and Titanic is sinking. And there's a little band over there in the corner, and they're playing music because they don't want you to panic while the ship goes down.
All right.
All you have to do, if you don't believe the ship is sinking, is go back and look at the manifest, and it show you like the passengers before were okay, the passengers after that we had a little few problems. The passengers after that are in dire need. I mean, come on, you're in a country where the people organize a group and the name of the group is Black Lives Matter. I mean, come on. The reason for that is simple. It's because collectively we are being annihilated. Malcolm X talked about 22 million black people in his speeches, and today we what? We about the same. They said then 12%, 10%, 12%. Nobody really wants to really know. And some people say we were larger than that, but now without having with the Hispanics and the Hispanics and the Puerto Ricans invading into the communities in the West and in the East, we've been displaced. And it's not that we're being displaced; it's that we're being jailed at a rate double the number of whites. And when you're in prison, your sperm can't go nowhere. Your sperm is useless. You see, so this is a way that I believe the think tanks in America have decided that they're going to help reduce the numbers of black people in the country, because they got a plan for us, and we don't want it can be the least the number we are, the better it is for that final plan, and that's to disseminate us into the American society as nothing.
Let's see what else we got in the chat room. Tim Carter's asking, do you think our time is running out in America? Well, you already kind of answered that, but if you want to go more into that, go ahead.
Your time is running out, obviously, because of the fact that if you look at your grandparents, they could get jobs at General Motors, Ford factory jobs, and they would be secure for life. Even the military. But today, those things are finishing. The government is now dipping into the Social Security money. It's not just Black Americans that when the country starts to go down, but we'll be the ones that they attack the most to suck us dry as it goes down, as the economy goes down. And this is exactly what is happening. I mean, come on now. African Americans, they lose half their wealth in the past recession and the years following. Yet the country has gains more millionaires than ever before, and more billionaires. Come on, wake up! You need to wake up and see there is no chance in hell, as long as racism is in place, that blacks collectively are going to be able to get a foothold and be equal with whites. So what you waiting for? 400 years and so plus, what you waiting for? Ain't nothing gonna change. 400 years up to now, what makes you think it's gonna change in your lifetime? What signs do you see? You got how many black leaders talking about moving out of the country, jumping out the game? Zero. I don't know, this Dr. Umar Johnson is talking about building a school inside the enemy's camp. Boyce Lydell is talking about just get economical knowledge and you'll be okay. And despite the fact that the black population is dying and the black community is dying, I was watching him and he's talking about, in the black community. And I'm screaming at the TV, why? What black community is this man talking about? He's dreaming. The population is going down, that means less money. So who is he talking to? You can't address those issues of build schools and produce black conscious students to come into America, or educate black people to be more economically knowledgeable, unless you got people to do that too. And if the numbers are reducing, surely. I mean, each and every person in your so-called chat room need to step back and look at the situation that they have. Okay, most of you never been anywhere else, so you don't know. But if you can look at your situation and think back 5 years ago, look at your situation, where your friends were 5 years ago and where they are today. Get me? And then and you know, God bless us. We're such a great people. We try to say, I'm gonna make it no matter what. But fool, even if you make it, where the majority of the population is not making it, when you make it, the more you go up in the ladder economically, the less black people you see. So your friends and your neighbors is gonna be non-black people, and you gotta go to their house, have fun with them. But do you see that they know that you ain't their culture? They know you're not from their homeland. You know, you're sitting in Wong Fu's house, buddy, what's happening? You know, that boy ain't your friend. You see what I'm saying? You don't feel comfortable with him. I live with people that's nonsense. You know, you go golfing and you're the only black person out there besides you and the cat. You feel it. You know, you go out to the restaurant and everybody at the table is white and all the people that's serving you is black. You feel it. You know what I'm saying? You might think you're successful, but you have to keep ignoring the fact that there are too many of us that are not down at the bottom of the ladder. And you wonder why they're grabbing at your coattail so hard, asking you for money if you're rich, or if you're making it, or if you're successful. It's not that case. It's like the brother that I told you, the brother that came on TV and confessed that when he was a rapper, and he said he had to move out of his hometown because black people would be ready to kill him because of his success. Because everybody want what you got, because they don't got what you have. The majority of them don't have. So if you think that you're gonna become rich and you're gonna be happy, it's not. It's gonna be worse off than happy. Go ask any of these major rappers that have been successful. Go ask Mike Tyson. Go ask Michael Jordan. Go ask them. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna tell you the facts. That's why even Michael Jackson had to have his concert outside of the United States. They weren't gonna be having that. You don't know the backstories behind what's going on. It's all based on racism. You know, no people have your back. Nobody has your back. The government don't have your back, and so why would you stay in a country like that?
Let me ask you this. Question in chat room is, if you're someone's saying if you're not making things happen, it's an echo in the background. They're saying if you're not making things happen in America, what the hell are you going to do in Africa? What would be your response to that?
If you're not making things happen in America, that's because that's your mentality. You stay right there. You know, you're not making things happen. But I'm saying, I'm not. Like I said, when I come on your show, I'm not talking to the Negroes.
Okay.
I'm talking to those fence sitters that are out there, and I would believe that the majority of people that would continue to come on your chat line would be the ones who is not sure. They're not sure who they are. You know, minus the trolls. You know, they can do. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I remember when I was unconscious and I was here, I had no clue about going to Africa, but I remember sitting at my little table and reasoning it all out in my mind and sitting there reading, and then I just sat back in my chair and said, I've got to go to Africa. I cannot be a hypocrite. I cannot be saying I'm black conscious and this and this and that and not go to Africa and see for myself if it's true or not. Not go to Egypt, but to go meet the people that are there today and see if somehow or another I am related to them. And the fact of the matter is very much the same. You know, take away the stupid way we sometimes think, and you know, our rudeness that we get from being in America. We're basically the same. We're basically the same here. Yeah. So you know, hats off to the Israelite people that stand out there in the cold corners of New York talking that nonsense. You guys is joking. I mean, if I had a video, I could take you to the Nairobi or even here, and you start seeing the matatus that people use every day. The majority of people driving like these large taxi buses, you know, and the buses are all rappers from the U.S., Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, American flag. You see, there's a grand connection between. I won't even say. I can't say South Africa because they don't allow you to paint their taxis. Everything had to be yellow. But in Kenya, you just make the thing, you know, put pictures and spray paint it any which way you want. And this is the thing of all the things they could paint their vehicles with. They paint them with a lot of things that are dealing with Black Americans. So even if it was true that you was a Hebrew Israelite and you believe that you were not part of you're not from Africa. If America goes down, where you gonna go? Huh? Where you gonna go? Huh? You go where? Europe, Asia? Just be stupid. Huh? And the African is here telling you to come back home. And they're building their societies. The way they build their societies is based off the American and European architectural framework. You know, the way they do their transportation, that they're developing their transportation, the way they're doing their organizing their businesses, they're all following these models. And this only makes it easier for us to step in. Because the white man can't step in because he's only 7% of the population. And it makes a great point for us to come and be around the same type of people who we are. And you know, this is just obvious, except for when we fear, and that fear makes our mind start making up reasons to kind of quell that fear. And the fear is of the unknown. When you tear all everything down, you fear of the unknown. And the Mzungu, the white man, he knows this. The mass media propaganda machine knows this. So they just have to put little bits of negative nonsense into your mind, and your conscious mind will pick up from there. They show you a movie with some Africans with spears. That's all it takes. They don't have to even say this is in Africa. You just see that in the movie. You go home, nobody has talked to you, and somebody say, what? You just that picture of the man with the spear clicks into your mind, and then all of a sudden, you know, there you go. You got a negative point. You know, you got to think beyond that. And the only way to get beyond that is to educate yourself of what has happened to you. He has lied to you. Using racism, they have lied to you, taken your history, twisted it around, made you laugh when you were first.
Say that again. Hey, I want you to repeat that one more time. People need to hear.
They lied. You know, we were first, and they made us last. And they put that on the back of the dollar bill. In Latin. So you see, they never gonna respect you as long as you stay in America. Because what kind of idiot would stay where he's being tricked and fooled and he can't see it being done to him, and then his children? Yeah, surely.
Hey, Rahh, somebody wants to know if they repatriate to Africa, should they change their name, get rid of their birth name, their slave name?
You cannot be Black conscious and Kerry Johnson as your name. If you're serious, you cannot do. How in the hell are you gonna name your kid Bill Washington? But you Black conscious. No. I mean, I was Andre Young. I had a French first name and an Irish last name.
What was your name? What was your name?
Andre Young.
Andre Young. Okay.
And Young was the name of my sister's father. Wasn't even my father's name was Murray. So how? Well, I mean, I was like, when I looked at the situation, I was like, my God, I'll be making everything and calling my kids Young, and I have never even met the woman, my sister's dad. You know what I'm saying? I twisted out. Yeah. You know, do you know how good it feels when I go to my kids' school and they name out the kids that did this thing and they go, Rahh? See, people don't realize. I be feel like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, my offspring. Da-da-da. You can see it. Get what I'm saying? I have a big odds. I'm in odds with my family members and back home, and that was before I even became Black conscious. But when I became Black conscious, I distanced myself from all of the nonsense. You know how family can be, and mine was the worst. Jealousy, not speaking to each other for a decade. This is kind of things that was going on in my family, and I grew up in a family full of women. So when I changed my name, and this thing still continued with the family, it gave me comfort because it made a clear distinction of what I was about. And any night I go to bed at night and I try to relax and say like, I'm just not going to do anything. I wake up in the morning and I hear that name and I'm like, I got to get, it calls me to arms. See what I'm saying? Because I have done it. I mean, how in the hell am I going to be now who I am and be a fuck up?
All right.
See, the name caused me to do it.
Mm.
The name calls me.
There's power in names.
Yeah. People, when they call me by my name, it's just like the wonder. And I remember the time when I was, after I changed my name, I changed my driver's license. So I got pulled over by the police. So the policeman's coming up to my car and he's pulling his gun, checking his gun, make sure it can slip out the holster. I'm looking at him through my rear view mirror. Mm-hmm. I mean, my side view mirror. So he comes up to me, I put my hand at 10 and 4, 10 and 2. And he asked me, why you put your hands up on the rear steering wheel? I was like, shit, you know what's going on. And the policeman said, I felt more intimidated when you put your hand at 10 and 2 than I did if you would just kept your hands regular. And I was like, shit. So he asked me for my driver's license. And when I gave him my driver's license, the guy just went, oh, so sir, this is the problem that you had. Because we had struck up this little conversation before. He just picked it up from there. He looked at my name and he was like, I'm in Rahh. Okay, you can go. You see? Mm-hmm. But that could have went over. He would have looked at my driver's license and he said, Elmo Johnson, oh, you got to go to jail. Let me see.
Elmo Johnson.
Open your car. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Let me open your glove compartment. Let me check you out, man. Let me look under your seat. Come out the car. I got to fish you. You know what I'm saying? So the name change is very important, and you cannot be worried about what your family gonna think. You cannot be worried. If you think about that, then you fall in. You based on yourself on fear. Shit. If anything, come on, change your name, and if the shit gets raw, change it right back. Yeah, go back. Oh, I made a mistake. You see, you can do that. Nobody gonna fault you. But change your name and walk around the street with that driver's license or that ID card in your possession with your name. You can't just change your name and not make it official. You got to have an action. So change your name, get the ID card, and if you feel like the world is going to come to an end, people are going to disrespect you, then change it right back. See? And I know that there's some Negroes out there that they got white friends, and that's the first thing popping in their mind is, what is Billy going to think if I change my name to Mutumbo?
Let me ask you real quick. Somebody asked a great question. Why they're wondering? Okay, why should they go to Africa, Black Americans, and not Jamaica or the Caribbean islands or South America?
You had that guy on your show from Brazil.
No, he was from Colombia.
Wherever the fuck, whatever you say, you asked him, was there racism in Colombia? That guy stumbled on that question for like what, 5 minutes?
Yo.
Well, yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. You only place you're supposed to be is in Africa. You ain't supposed to be going to no funny looking. That's just racism. I mean, that's just ignorance in advance. Because somebody told you you're trying to compromise for your fucking family and your future generations by compromising for somebody in the United States. Yeah, who it probably would you probably would lose their trust or friendship if you if you went to Africa. So you can go to Colombia and you think you be in Colombia because of them, not because of yourself. You see, if you go to Brazil, you'll be in Brazil because of them. You know, not because of what you really want to accomplish, and that's peace of mind. You can't be having no peace of mind running around somewhere and people judging you by the color. That's joking. That's jokes. You need to come and see what it feels like to be free from that. You know? Racism is a serious disease. Racism is a serious disease, and you can't see that it's all around you, and it affects you every time you make a step toward some sort of progress or some sort of they're there, and you can feel it all around you in America. Because if white people, and not all white people are rich, but the establishment that the majority of the millionaires and billionaires are white, and so you're gonna end up around them some kind of way. Like Oprah Winfrey, she can't because her business couldn't survive with all the other small business and other major dealings that she has to do with people that are white, or non-black. You get what I'm saying? So you can't just come up there and have, just like I said earlier, you can't just come up and be friends with them like, oh, this is my buddy, Amasi. Hold on a second.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, me and Grandmaster Amenkrahh all the way from Mombasa, Kenya. Please get the likes up, guys, as you come into the chat room. Please get the likes up. Also, thank you all those who super chatted. Thank you so much for super chatting. Hope you guys are enjoying. If you're not super chatting, please like and share. And also make sure you subscribe if you're new to this platform as well. So again, Grace, we see you. I'll tell Amenkrahh hello, that you said hello, that you said Yambo. I'll let him know. All right, brother Amenkrahh is back. Go ahead, brother.
So we can just lose our thoughts that quick, huh?
So go ahead. Yeah, I think we're talking about the briefly, really didn't get into it as far as the brother in Colombia.
Yeah, it would be stupid for you to go to, and I get that from people. It's like they don't want to come to Africa, and they don't understand why. So they say, I can see what the brother is saying is true. I can feel like people are telling me, yeah, America is like this. But what about if I just go to Colombia? They want to be in a neutral point of view, and you're being another country based off what somebody else, some for reasons that are not your own. Africa is beautiful, it's growing, and it's prosperous. And all you have to do is take those few steps. First, get your passport. Second, you gotta adopt an African country. Third, get friends from that African country. Get on social media, it's so easy. Tell them what you're about, that you want to come for a visit. This takes months. It's not like something that happens overnight. And establish yourself. And trust me, you can, if you pick an African country like Kenya, you can find Kenyans in your area. And just call them, tell them, I'm this way, I'm that way, I want to go to your country, tell me about it. You suddenly you'll get interested in it, and then the next thing you know, they'll be inviting you. And then you will, then from there you go get Dynasty to get you a cheap airplane ticket.
Yeah, I got you. I'll help you out. Yes, sir.
Then go for 2 weeks and and see for yourself. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. I think what happened with me was I was so goddamn mad at the establishment for lying to me. I'm walking around like, damn, look at this place. God, they lied to me. Oh, look at these people. They love me. This is
right.
All the lies, just lies. And I got so mad at the establishment. It was like when people ask me, "Are you going to go back?" and I really like no. I really stress that point because what's there for me? More lies, more deceit. I'm gonna leave this peaceful land and go to the murder capital of the world. I was
Right.
on. I'm online with my cousin. She's talking about, we worry about you. I'm like, shoot, don't worry about me. You the one
Okay,
living in the.
and that's my next question. Dealing with I guess concerned family members, or so-called concerned family members. How do you deal with that?
Okay, like I said, my family, we were not that close. But now, if you have a really close family, then here's what you do.
Mhm.
Because if you have that feeling that you want to go to Africa, if Africa's touching you, go to them and tell them that you're going to go. They should come and support you as you go to Africa and try to see if there's a way you can do business in Africa. See? If it's like that, go take your family and say, look, I will be the first one of our family to be in Africa. So we'll have family in Africa and we'll have family in America. So if people have problems here in America, they have a home base to come to in Africa.
Say that one more time. Say that one more time. Say that people need to hear that again.
Yeah, so I'm saying if you have a strong family ties, you can get with your family, because if you have strong family ties, you obviously have conversations in the family. You can introduce the fact that and you can say, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna rent an apartment, or I'm gonna get a piece of land, I'm gonna build a little house, and that'll be where we can go. If people, we can start expanding our family in 2 continents, and maybe we can start businesses there. And if the family needed to you got the small kids that are coming up, they can go to college in Africa, and it would be a better education and much cheaper. So you can swing it like that, and the family, they can say, oh, that makes sense, because America is full of shit, and
Right.
it's having all these problems, and Africa is rising. So if we got some contacts in Africa, who doesn't do that? What people don't have these kind of contacts in different continents? But if your family is stagnated and you're so busy trying to prove to your cousin Johnny that you're Freddie, and you're competing with Uncle Johnny, not be any capitalism. This is what I heard recently. There cannot be capitalism without racism. So, that's another point that we need to really delve into. I mean, I'm doing research now, but if you Google it, racism and capitalism, there are a lot of articles that are coming up saying that you can't have one without the other.
Right.
So, it behooves us to now to have an economic extension outside of the United States. And Africa is the best place because it's the fastest growing continent on the planet at this moment. And the economists are saying for the next 50 years, it will be so. And I'm here to tell you, I'm seeing the growth. I was at a friend's house in Nairobi, I think about a month ago, and I was saying, he lives on the top floor of this 8-9-story apartment complex, beautiful place. And I took pictures of that too, by the way. Outside the windows, all these scaffolds. What do you call those things when they're building the big scaffold thing? Yeah, there was like 10 of them. Mm-hmm. All outside there around, you can see where they're building high-rise businesses and apartment buildings, all in the distance from where he was staying. And I'm saying, hey, this is the compliment. This is what's going on. That required as this may be kept. This is what's going on. The countries are economically becoming powerhouses. The Chinese have realized it, and America couldn't take advantage of it because of racism. See, so this is the best time to come. Yeah, it's the best time to come. I mean, when people were saying like Trump was going to get into office and he was going to do, he was not going to do well with blacks. What was that about? It was about racism.
Right.
It was about racism. It was racism that the Jews used when they gave you Obama. Obama's not black. Obama's not black. Obama is not black. The boy is born in Hawaii and raised in Indonesia. When did he get around to the back porch and watch his mother cook in the stove? You know what I'm saying? When did he go outside with his friends and do boogaloo dancing. When did he play football in the street till the lights came on? Till the street lights came on. When? Huh? He wouldn't know. He never knew none of that. Hmm? Even when him and Michelle Obama was dancing to Aretha Franklin at the inauguration, the guy was all off beat. He had to kind of catch up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Let us soul song come on for one of us. The first reaction is, oh, my song. Then see, Obama don't have that in him. We was duped, and they use racist tendency to trick us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the man, I still say, what did Obama do for black people in the 8 years he was president?
Nothing.
They never gonna let a black man be president. And to prove it to you, that's what you got, Obama. And then they use the media to fool you into believing the first black president. That's what happened. Yeah, but that pales in comparison to the one that gave you Jesus Christ. So you shouldn't be surprised. So this is not going to end. It's just going to keep on going until they either put you in the grave or they suck you dry economically for whatever you work. Yeah. And with the ability that I have, it didn't even take long for them to see what I was capable of and start to racism me every which way they could. They decided that Amin is not going to be, this man is not going to make it, and any step that he take is going, we're going to thwart that. We're going to fight against that. So I grew up in the computer field. And, I was pretty good at it, and I was working with whites, and whites would see me on the keyboard, and then they feel like they had to come and do better than me. And when they couldn't do better than me, they tried to sabotage me. It's silly. I mean, I'm at a job, and I'm the best employee they got, but the manager of the manager puts me on an unlimited probation, a probation that never ends. So, no. I know what people that are intelligent and got talent. I know what it's like. And if I wasn't black conscious, even at that time, I would not know. I would have thought it was me. But you shouldn't wait till you're 40 years old or 50 years old to realize that all the things that happened to you was not of your doing. Your relationships are failing with your woman because she's not making sense to you. And this is this is what's going on. So, we have to come to realize that the best part of being in Africa is the fact that there's no racism. That's the best part of moving to Africa. You got the kid there?
Yeah, he's right here.
And where is it? You can't put him on. You can't be seen.
Come here, Master. Come say hello to Grandmaster. Come say hello. Yeah, come say hello. Come say hello. Grandmaster, come on, get up. Get up. Get up. Come on, say hello. Get up. Get up. Get up. He's being shy today.
No.
Oh, stop, Master. Stop being so loud.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And that's what it's all about. And if we can't reproduce and reproduce ourselves in a place where that is not set against us, if we're capable of reproducing in a place where there's where there's no racism, we have better control over our children, and we can be more proud of what comes out. See? So, being raised where you are part of the majority, as opposed to being part of a minority, there's certain talks that you don't have to have with your children. But you raising your son in America, if anybody is doing that, you got to have that certain talk with him one day.
Right.
Tell him why he's not liked by certain people at school, and why these people on the TV are like this and like that. And I don't have to have that conversation with my kids, and that whole thing is all based on trying to defend racist practices.
Right.
So racism definitely is the number one cause, reason for people to leave the United States and move to Africa. And I say move to Africa because moving somewhere else is just going to, it doesn't even make any sense, economically wise and peace of mind wise. You can walk down the street and you can be a part of the scenery. So many people tell me they cannot know that I'm not a Kenyan until I open my mouth.
Right.
Yeah. So you can walk around large areas. Like I go to the beach and I don't get people staring at me. I go to the supermarket. I'm walking around the aisles looking for something. I don't have to feel like people are looking at me or watching me.
Right.
These are the things. Yeah, these are the things that we take for granted. When I get stopped by the police, it ain't because I'm a black man. You know, but this is the case. You get a great feeling of peace of mind. And if you get you a good woman,
Go ahead.
mm, hello, are we still there?
Yeah, we're still here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and what we'll do. We'll go ahead and finish your statement. Then you can close out and give everybody your contact information. He's in Mombasa, Nita. He's in Mombasa. Yeah. So and then we'll go ahead and close out so me and my son can go grab some brunch.
Okay. Yeah. So I think I covered the points I wanted to cover, unless there were some questions that was out there.
No, I already answered all the questions for the most part. Kweku, thank you for the super chat, brother. Yeah, everything's been already asked, man. We're good. You can go ahead and
they're not attacking me today, huh? Oh.
Say that one more time.
I'm saying they're not. There's no trolls in the chat room today.
Not really. No one's really troll. Well, you got one troll. One guy whose name is in I guess this is like Russian letters. He's saying that racism in Africa is worse. So I don't know if he's white or I don't know what his situation is.
Okay. I don't know how.
Well, I mean,
how racism.
He's trolling. He's trolling. So we're not gonna address him.
Yeah. So but that makes another point that people might try to come up with about the tribalism thing. You consider you come here like I come in with my other Black American friends that are here, and we're like a tribe of our own, And I think that that's a great thing. We get people to come together like that. But as far as tribes are concerned, they do have their small issues. But trust me, the last election, the tribal issues were tested to their limit. I mean, even me, I was ready to take sides. But thank goodness that the people of Kenya had enough restraint that it didn't go anywhere near some sort of race riot where two main tribes were going to attack each other. And the president was running for re-election, and the opposition leader was from the other major tribe, and he felt that he had won the election, and he decided to call all the people together and then say like he was the people's president. But they went to court, and I think you realize that the African court nullified the elections, and they had to redo the elections. First time a court actually recounted an election.
Right.
It shows how far the African has gone as far as disciplining themselves away from this knowledge of tribalness. Because if you ever get a chance to look at the situation that was going on in Kenya a few months back, you can see that people are very mature and dealing with it. And then at the end of the day, what happened? Two men came together in State House and shook hands.
Right.
And the whole place just went back peaceful. See, and that's not the first time that actually has happened before. But yeah. Now you can take a look at the situation in South Africa right now. Julius Amembe is there. I put a video on my site of him talking and telling white people what we should have been telling white people a long time ago ourselves in America. The African is busy taking his land back, getting his respect, building up his countries. The African black man is on point. Just go to Black Man's Guide to Understanding to Moving to Africa, and you can see that point very clear on the video for Jules Mendy telling white people, you got to give up the land.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to give up the land. We're gonna take the land. In fact, he just stopped in this video. Anybody that sees some free land, go take it. You know? So you're saying, like, did you see what the white man came back? Well, I can't say the white man, but the white media, the white controlled mass media came back and said that the situation in Zimbabwe was a failure when Mugabe took the land.
Right.
And then they came on and talk about he took the land, he didn't compensate. Excuse me, the white farmers in Zimbabwe were compensated for the land, their land. They were paid money and they got off their land. They was paid money and they got off their land. In South Africa, they're saying we ain't gonna pay you nothing. You just gonna give up the land.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So and Zimbabwe today is back economically. And Canada and these other people have released the sanctions that they had put on, not America and not Obama, who actually continued the sanctions against Mugabe. And the country is flourishing. Mugabe has gotten old. They removed him so nicely and peacefully. You know, they said the old man was tired. He was safe. They took him to his residence. They put in the next president. No problem. No, Mugabe came on video saying it was a coup, but he didn't look like he cared. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can see in the video that he had given that the man is tired. He's old and he's, you know, even if he got a sound mind, the way he was talking is like the man is tired. See what I'm saying? So yeah. So immediately after that happened, they saw that the whole situation with Mugabe was a success, and Mugabe came out of office, and you know the man gonna live in retirement. He ain't gonna have no worries. You know what I'm saying? The government gonna take care of him. You get what I'm saying? African style, the African way. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So now the problem in Zimbabwe is worse than it was in Zimbabwe, and Jules Member is taking the government to task and taking the white man to task, straight out talking the way Black people in America should be talking. It's a black and white issue. It's about racism, and racism is not about being black. It's about economically depriving us of our wealth. And and also by reducing our numbers by any means necessary, and that includes imprisonment and socially destroying the foundation of the Black family by mass media and news entertainment, where they make movies with all these so-called shows that have us believing in Christianity and the concept of Christianity. You see, if a man has a wife, right, and then he goes out and he sleeps with another woman, and the wife finds out that he slept with another woman, right? She gets mad because she believes in the concept of one man, one woman. That's Christian. That's Christianity. If there was a so-called marriage, they say, "Oh, the man has committed adultery." This is a Christian concept. In Africa, it was not there. The man could sleep with many women as he could control and he could take care of. If he had a visitor that came from a long distance, he would be given one of his wives to sleep with. See? In Maasai culture, as you may know, when you go there, you go to a hut with a woman, the man puts his spear in the ground in front of the hut, and that means don't bother him for the rest of the night. You understand what I'm saying? The cultures are completely different. And here in Kenya, God bless them, they created a new constitution, and in the constitution they say you can now have up to 4 wives, and they enshrine that in the constitution. So I don't know what these people are thinking about as far as putting these shows on TV like Cheaters. You see, you have to have a concept in order for that to happen. I mean, the sex between 2 individuals that are consenting adults, is it really that serious? You get what I'm saying? And now you can't even find any married couples. So Cheaters got to be like Little John is having sex with someone and his girlfriend is mad. You see, because they can't find married couples. You know, you need to get from that. You can see the way we've been tricked and been manipulated into destroying entire families based off Christian ideas. And Christianity is a religion that the white man created, that he don't follow his own self. You know what I'm saying? So we black people are here fighting over our man, and I can't be with another. I can't have another woman in my man's life. It got to be me. You see, that wasn't an African concept. And even though Christianity is heavily in Africa, the African woman is more tolerant towards the husband and dealing with women on the outside than the African American woman is, and she's far less violent. So as far as I can see. So it makes for the family unit to be much more stronger, and small things like a man going out and sowing his royal oaths or following his basic human nature. You might be married, and then you see another woman, and you and that woman click off, and you guys go sleep together. Now you didn't when you slept with this woman. I'm talking about the men, and I know women gonna hate me, but I don't care. But you sleep with this woman, and then do you have in the back of your mind like I'm gonna leave my wife for this woman? No, most men don't have that kind of concept. They don't think like that, and women are believing in this concept because they're following a Christian ideology, and they're not even going to church on Sunday. So these are things that we have to delve into as far as dealing in America, the aspect of the way we believe it's supposed to behave in church, and letting the church be our guideline. It's a system that is designed to fail, and like so many black leaders are saying, it's the pillar of what our problems are in America.
All right, brother. So what we'll do, well, I guess you already closed out, but make sure give everybody your contact information again. And again, brother, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, brother Rahh. And people they love you in the chat room. So again, thank you for coming.
Okay, it's always a pleasure. I'm always surprised that you guys be calling me back, but
yeah, come on, man.
Anytime. No, anytime you guys, if you don't get tired of me talking. But I would like more questions next time from the audience.
Okay, absolutely, no problem. So I'll make sure people have more questions.
Even in my martial art classes, and I'm teaching a seminar, I'm talking, and then everybody gets quiet. They're just listening, and I'm like, well, any questions? Any comments? No. Oh, what we see? And then I force them to ask me questions. But anyway, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. I look forward to it on Sundays myself. I'll be sad when they end. But I hope that your show is going to continue. This is important information. I enjoy watching the people that you interact with, not like your buddy who gets on the mic all night and starts cursing everywhere. I think you know who I'm talking about. And,
the homie O'Shea.
Yeah, O'Shea. I try to listen to him, get some good pointers. The guy's brilliant as far as his concepts, but the homie keeps on cursing and talking all that nonsense, and he don't know how to fight. So it behooves me. But anyway, I can only be reached basically on Facebook, Black Man's Guide to Moving and Visiting Africa. I appreciate your people that have come to the site, and we've been chatting back and forth like that. And I hope that we can come to a conclusion and maybe even get down settled. There was a guy that was supposed to come, Brian somebody, Kenya.
Yeah, Brian Cole. Yeah, Brian Cole. I think his wife is.
Yeah, he said he was coming on Thursday. I've not seen him yet.
Okay, well, hopefully he'll hit you up.
Yeah, hopefully he'll hit me up. Then the next time we're on, he can be sitting here with me, and we can discuss about what he sees, so people can see realities. Okay, so yeah, that's where you can meet me on Facebook.
All right, brother. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us. Make sure you go to search for Huru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to searchforhuru.com, go to dynastymirror.com, and go to amazon.com and search your name, Dynasty Mirror. Again, people, thank you so much for joining us. I will be back on later on today. Got a couple more shows I planned for today. So again, everybody, I'm Rahh. Will be back next week, of course. I'm Rahh. Our days are Sundays. We will do a show every Sunday if you're free.
Now next Sunday I'll be in Nairobi.
What about Saturday? You gonna be free Saturday?
Maybe on Saturday I'll be free, but if we can do a show in Nairobi,
it's up to you. I don't care. It's up to you, bro. It's up to you.
Ah, okay. Well, if I'll see where I'm at on Sunday. At this time, I'll probably be doing a promotion with about 60 or 70 brothers. Maybe we can
Okay.
let them talk a little
Absolutely. They
bit
can
too,
come
so they
on.
can.
Shoot. That's fine.
Okay, then let's do that next Sunday.
Okay, cool. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Peace.
Well, that's all I had to do was hit that.